host, Jerk, and welcome back to the big show. It feels like it's been a minute, and I guess it has. It's been about a week since the last big show, but that doesn't mean it's been a week since the last Kraken. You see, Janice, down in accounting, she made a clerical error with the last one, Kraken 207. Funny thing, you see, that was actually Kraken 206, and then I needed to get another one to make it 207, and I did, again in the Ochakov, which was perfect because, you know, I don't like to do back-to-backs in the same ship. Now, that doesn't mean you've seen the last of the Ochakov, not by a long shot. I've got the current damage record for you that I was going to show today, but then our old friend reached out to me and said they were in town and wanted to know if they could stop by to promote their sequel to Won't Let 'Em Lose, the hard carry story with Won't Let 'Em Lose 2, Harder Carrier. And after seeing it get some buzz in the Oscar noms, you know we had to do it. So let's welcome back out our very good friend and frequent guest, the one and only Russian Tier 7 premium battleship, Vladivostok. Vladivostok. Last seen but a month ago, but with this week's Attracted Damage Challenge, I knew exactly what ship to go to, and I had recently gotten a request for another video in this ship, so why not kill two birds with one stellinium stone? And kill we will. We are back on Haven, and I'm starting to think this might be a Kraken producer now. It is really putting out the hits, but the plot twists and pure frustration of the blue team's antics and positioning in this one puts some of my other carries to shame. It takes something to get the heart rate up in a standard battle, but I definitely hit 48 beats per minute by the end of this. First things first, this match stars Kedrov with Cunningham and Azurlane Hipper for support. Now, I used to have Reinhard Scheer as inspiration, but that minus 4% fire chance, well, I'm not sure how much of difference that was making, whereas a reduction to the actual fire damage is very noticeable, so casting made the last minute change. Alright, let's break down what's going on here. You may have noticed at the beginning that the red team has 4 radar cruisers, and I stayed on that screen a while just contemplating how much HE spam I would be under and how much attracted damage that would actually translate to. We have 2 radar cruisers, a Belfast and an Albemarle, and the Albemarle maybe doesn't realize that they have radar because while B was being capped, they never once thought to use it while I sat there ready to shoot a destroyer. You know, a battleship's job. We also have a 2-man double destroyer division, and while I don't have a problem with 2-man destroyer divisions like I do with a 3-man destroyer division, if you're going to go out in 2 destroyers, you had better be playing them right. Scout, spot, cap, contest, all of which is hard to do when you're behind a battleship and refuse to get on the cap. I do not understand the desire people have to give up the center of the map. Another thing you have no doubt heard me say plenty is to go where your team isn't. And for an example of the opposite of that, feast your eyes on the minimap. And I won't comment on the northeast side as I don't know what has happened over there, but I can say down here that while I appreciate the entire team being close enough to activate my will to rebuild, I don't need it. There are all sorts of entrances into the B cap where these cruisers could be to create a crossfire or be able to help the rest of our team. You need to have the situational awareness to recognize that this battleship, it doesn't need an escort of 3 cruisers and 2 destroyers, not to deal with a Belfast, a Cleveland, and a Siegfried. Your abilities would be best suited almost literally anywhere else. So I've pinged to Cap B a few times now, and it is abundantly clear that this team has no intention whatsoever of doing anything required to get the win here. So I'm gonna have to do it. And that's really the thing with this game when you're playing solo, and sometimes with divisions. Just expect that you need to do everything and play accordingly, because at least then you know what you need to do, and you won't be waiting for your teammates to do it. If you recognize what needs to be done, it's up to you to do it. Even as ridiculous as that is, at least you won't ever be disappointed, and at worst, you'll be pleasantly surprised. So, the eagle-eyed have no doubt noticed that I haven't sunk any ships yet, but this is a Kraken game, which means that I'm going to end up sinking everyone left. And that's about to start now. And you would also think, well, look at the ship lead that we have. This should be a blowout, but when you give up this many caps this early and for this long, you're asking for trouble. And we're going to have a lot of trouble because my team will still refuse to cap. Maybe it's my magnetic personality. Maybe I'm born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. But look how close this blue team is to me now. I mean, they can't get much closer than they are. They are all within my legendary ring. So I'm going to head into B. And I'm hoping the rest of my team will deal with this Belfast, because that Belfast, they're going to have a crossfire on me. My dynamic duo of destroyers are going to get onto B. I wouldn't be so sure about that. We're going to lose another teammate, and because we have such god-awful positioning, the red team is just earning points way too fast. I'm not going to be able to cap because I'm going to stay spotted, so me even trying to sit on B is fairly pointless. Half of this dynamic destroyer duo is getting on the cap now, but don't worry, they will be turning away and getting off again. So you thought I was being hyperbolic when I said they refused to cap. But this isn't like rain on your wedding day or a free ride when you've already paid. This is just baffling. Well, there's their destroyer, so there's a little bit of info I can work with at least, because who else is going to be spotting? Meanwhile, that Belfast is spamming me with HE, as will this Cleveland, and though I will take a little bit of damage here and there, if the Belfast had switched to AP, this battle would have been lost. So I have to give them broadside because I need to angle for the Gnais now and the torpedoes that are probably coming. But HE it is. It's the only way they know to be. I mentioned in a previous video, if all you know is HE spam, then you're really doing yourself a disservice in your gameplay. I mean, if you want to get better, you've got to know when to switch ammo types. So just watch the damage numbers that come off my ship with each of these salvos. Nothing. A little bit there. Nothing. Now, I'm not saying AP would have been 5 or 10,000 damage, but it would have been more than nothing. Anyway, I'm going to put on the brakes here just for a second to throw off any torps that have been sent my way. And then we got to get back out there and see if we can't remove another ship. My priority is definitely to sink the destroyer first, if possible. But after that, it is the Cleveland, then Belfast, and then finish with the Gnais now. Now, that doesn't mean I won't change the order, but that is the order of importance. So while it could be tempting to turn the guns around and go after the Belfast, I need to focus this Cleveland first and foremost, because it has the highest DPM, and it has radar, and it can wreck my other ships most easily, and it is annoying, and people who kite in it grind my gears. So hello, Cleveland! That always feels good. I've angled in for the Akazuki and Gneisenau torps. My team has miraculously finally capped B, but I can't keep pushing this way because I would have no support. So I'm going to turn towards C-cap to put pressure on the red team there instead, and hopefully draw their attention that way. And really what we're trying to do is looking to isolate red ships and make them react to my actions rather than the other way around. You never know. Maybe the Gneisenau will think they should flank me from where they just were. And with this position, I'm okay with that. Any way that I can use terrain to separate players is good for me. And once this Belfast lose sight going around there, I'll be able to get another heal off and still be in pretty good shape, all things considered, when you think about just how much time I've spent actually on fire. Finally, some good news. One of my teammates is heading to the D cap. Bad news, we're down 300 points and there are less than 5 minutes left in the game. So we would need to have 3 capped and not lose any ships to be able to win on points. And that is a pretty tall order. Now, I have managed to drop spot for a while, so the red team can't be exactly sure where I am. But this red Belfast is playing a very dangerous game. And that right there is your Taco Bell play of the game. Let's see it again. Getting rid of that Belfast is when I started to think I might be able to pull this off. There's not much time left. I've got maybe 8 salvos if I have target spotted. And there's the Gneiss now, but I'm going to have to do something stupid and come around broadside. There is the German dispersion doing me a solid by only just taking out a gun. And you'll notice I don't damage con that because I am expecting torps. Now, even though that Gneiss is now 6.2 kilometers away, so I'm not worried about its torps. I mean, those aren't going to hit me, right? Right? Oh, no. And I've steered to dodge that, and in the process, I've turned into Akazuki torps. Make sure to hit that torp before my damage control is over. That was intentional. And I've got that heal going because I was expecting to be taking some damage there, too. So I get the front turrets off, and we get a very solid hit. I'm going to flip the rear turret around to get a nice hit from there and hopefully finish this off. No dice. But the Tiggle 152s come in clutch again. I bet that was the exact same gunner as last time. Somebody's going to be buying him a drink. With under 3 minutes left and down 230 points, our destroyer has decided it's time to make a run for the A cap. That is some poor situational awareness. Now, I'm not switching to HE here because the AP still hurts like the dickens, and I can't risk being mid-reload if I should spot this Akazuki with my target acquisition system. You'll notice I'm letting this fire burn because, I don't know. But I end up putting it out and I'll get my last heal off. Now, once I drop spot, the Akazuki got off the cap. And I didn't know it yet, but this Akazuki is also going for a Kraken right now too. So what do you say, Raggedy Man? Let's settle this in the Thunderdome. Now, I do pop my spotting plane here because I'm trying to let the Akazuki's AA shoot at it so I can spot where the Akazuki is. But for some reason I can't see that, so I don't know if they fixed that or what, but that is actually a really nice way to be able to figure out where destroyers are. Anyway, Akazuki's there, I get my salvo off, and... Alright men, cinch the belt and let's get ourselves skinny because we can't take a single one of these. This is for all the marbles. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. You see you bust a deal, you face the wheel. So I do have my HE loaded now. Knocked the engine. This is just going to be a matter of time, and you know what? If I didn't have Azure Lane Hipper on here, this fire damage may have been enough to sink me, but I do have Azure Lane Hipper on here, and I was like, oh no, Chapayev, I mean, I appreciate it, but please don't actually sink this thing. I'm so close, but right then is when I knew it was mine. And so we get Kraken 208 in the Vladivostok. Alright, scoreboard. And I think you're going to like this scoreboard. 3,326 XP for a very good game, and sweet baby Jesus medals going off the screen. Nice work by our Wichita to hold them off on that side as long as possible, and shout out to the very good effort of the red Akazuki. I know that was a good duel at the end there. So that wraps it up for this one. Questions, comments, words of advice for destroyers with cap phobia? Leave it down below. If you find you like capping bases and sinking destroyers and battleships, hit like. If you prefer to position yourself and your cruiser or destroyer behind that battleship all game, hit dislike. If you would like to join us in the studio audience, just hit subscribe. Thank you all for watching. I'll get back out there for another one, and we'll talk soon.